Hi friends, Simit here from InformedTrades.com. Today is February 6th, 2014. Time for our daily Forex chart review. Basically in this session, for those of you who are new to this, I review 20-some Forex pairs, basically share the trades I'm placing, the updates to the markets, the updates to my positions that I'm placing as well. Just for our discussion, for our educational purposes. Of course, if there's any questions you have or anything you want to add, we have a whole bunch of learning material on InformedTrades.com. If you're new to trading and a lot of what I'm talking about doesn't really make sense, I recommend reviewing our learning resources on Informed Trades. Okay, so let's get started. As is customary, I like to start by looking at the trades that I currently have on at the moment. I have 4 trades on at the moment, and 3 of them, my stop is at break even. For those of you who are watching yesterday, I do have let's actually start with the Aussie yen position real quick, which I no longer have on because my stop got hit. My stop was at break even. So as a reminder, I took profit right around here. So I took half my position off and got my profit right there, then moved my stop, which was initially at this black level, to this red line here. My stop just got hit, so I got a small profit on this short Aussie yen trade, but now I am out of that. Okay, I am in a short Aussie dollar trade. Let's go to that one. I had mentioned earlier in this week that I'd be most likely be putting on some short Australian dollar trades, and I definitely have that going on now. This one is currently not in. Oh, what happened? Looking at Aussie yen here. Let's look at Aussie US dollar. Okay, so I entered here this black line. My stop is here. Let's actually make this line red. Okay, my stop is there, so the position is a little out of the money now, a little at a loss. We'll see what happens. Not going to take any action just yet. I also went long the pound yesterday. I did that by a short euro pound trade, so long the pound relative to the euro. This position is going well for me. I shorted basically at this black line here, so the market went up, my order got filled, and it came right back down. So far that's a pretty good trade. We'll see if it continues. The profit target is here. If it can close below this orange line here, that is when I will move my stop to break even. Until then, no action. So I still have my risk exposed on this. The other trade I took, the pound, was long pound US dollar. And in this one, okay, so this I really like to see. What we have now is what could be basically a third hammer in a row. These are small hammers though, so you might say it's a doji. But 3 of these types of candles. Now it could be signaling an accumulation of shorts, meaning basically when you have these types of small candles, you're going to get a breakout in one direction or the other. I'm happen to be long here because I see that we're in an uptrend. We've got a pullback to a major support level, so I decided to go long. Plus, we had a pullback, plus the candlesticks were nice, so I decided to go long. However, it could, of course, break down. My stop is here. No action yet. I think we would need to close. Let me at least draw the line. If we can close above here, I need to change this line. Make it orange, much thinner, and dashed. Okay. If we can close above 64.10, that orange level I just added, then I will move my stop to break even. The target is 6,600, so we still have a ways to go. I like the price actions going on so far, but we'll see. Not moving my stop to break even just yet, so my risk is still exposed on this one as well. My risk is still exposed on both pound trades. And I have a long New Zealand dollar US dollar trade. Now this is the best position I have on, meaning it's the most in the money so far. Yes, we can actually make this a little longer, extend this the other way. And I'm going to make this a little lighter. Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah. So the target is still got a ways to go before they reach the target, and I don't really see any indication or reason to modify the trade. My stop is at break even here. Let me just double check that. Yeah, the stop is at break even. So that's the one trade where my risk is sort of off the table, meaning, I'm not really, if my stop gets hit, my account balance will not go down. Of course, I won't make any money, but so no profit is locked in, but at least I won't lose some. So basically, I have 3 trades on where my risk is still on the table, meaning if the stop is hit, I will lose 0.25% of my account balance. Based on my risk tolerance policies or my strategy, my risk management approach, I only have room for, I only risk 1% of my account balance at any time. So that means if 3 of my trades are currently each risking 0.25%, I only have room to risk 0.25% more. So that's only one trade on. That's definitely something to consider when today, and that's part of the reason why I like to review my current positions at the outset, because it gives me an idea of how much room I have to risk um, in my trading. So I'll only be putting on at most one trade. Of course, there might not be any trades. We'll see what's going on. Euro US dollar, like I mentioned, so we have this, pattern of declining of higher lows, as well as a couple of trend lines. So, this could, if someone held a gun to my head and forced me to make a decision, I'd go long. But I would prefer to just wait it out. I think I have a long Aussie dollar position on and um, I have a short Aussie dollar position on and a long pound dollar. But a long pound dollar I saw this long euro dollar and I saw a long pound dollar, and I felt more comfortable with the setup on the pound. And that's still true today. I'd rather add to the pound position than try something with the euro here. Euro Canada. Okay, we're getting closer, and I mentioned this before, where some traders, you see that channel where we've fallen to the top of the channel. Some traders may feel comfortable buying here. They're viewing the channel as a support. I totally understand that logic, and the candlesticks are sort of supporting that logic because we have a trading range of sorts happening here. But in light of the run-up Euro Canada's had, and all the Canada pairs, really. I want to see a further fall. So if we can follow this black line, which is also a support level, and then we're within, we've had a 50% pullback from this swing low to this swing high. That'd be more my kind of opportunity. Plus, by that time, we're even closer to 50 simple moving average. So I really would like to see a little more of a pullback. That's been what I say every day with Euro Canada, and it still is true. We are getting there. Patience is the name of the game. And what was this? This was January 29th. So we've been declining since January 29th. We might have a little bit more to go. So that's Euro Canada, still waiting on that. Euro Pound we looked at, Euro Yen. Okay. Looks like we might be getting a reversal here. We will see. If it can fall. So I'd really like to see it fall 30 pips down here. So a little more room on the euro, basically. I'd like to see it fall a little more. That could be an interesting long. Although, as I mentioned, the yen has thrown me for a loop of late. I haven't been trading it well, so I kind of would like to stay away from the yen. Long term, I'm definitely the biggest yen bear. So that's part of what makes me want to get in, but I'm not going to get in unless I have a clear reading on the technicals. And of course, I have my long-term gold position, which is related to expected decline in yen. So for the long term, I've got to play through gold and gold stocks. In the short term, I think there are going to be great speculative opportunities. However, I'm a little unclear on the technical setup, at least at this time. Maybe if we can follow the 134.80, 30 pips, that'll be a little clearer for me. Euro Kiwi. Yeah, still in this trading range here. If it can fall to one of those lines, preferably one of these blue lines, that could be an interesting opportunity. But at this point, I really want to stay away from putting on an order when the price is in the middle of a range, as I perceive it to be on Euro QE. Euro US dollar. Oh yeah, we looked at this too. So just waiting on this. I think there is going to be a volatility breakout. It looks like that is shaping up on the euro dollar. Still could be a while. We're in a bit of a holding pattern. This trend line is being supported. This red line here, that the market is supporting that. So that's something that bulls would find reassuring, or those who want to go long here. Like I mentioned, though, I like pound dollar better. Technical setup on that better. So I'd rather just do that. Speaking of the pound, let's go to pound Aussie. Okay, so we did fall through support here. That is interesting. I don't want to go long now, but it could have been interesting if we can have a bit more of a range here, basically, or follow that black line. I don't know. I really would like to see a more established support level. We haven't been in this range on the Australian pound Aussie in quite some time. When a support level's been tested a few times, that makes it much easier read for me. So we have a stronger support level at 79.61. That's why I got the thick black line. You see there was a base of sorts formed here, and the market quickly touched down here and rallied. So maybe there'll be an opportunity here. I don't know. At the very least, this could be. I mean, there might be an opportunity, but we'll see what else is going on in the market at that time. Hopefully, there's a better opportunity. Pound Canada still declining. Like I mentioned here, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight down days in Pound Canada. Now it looks like the rate of the rate of acceleration in the decline is slowing, right? So we're starting to decelerate a little bit. You're getting that hockey stick curve of sorts. The L, I guess, sort of the reverse, the left-handed hockey stick. Okay. Now this ended up being support. It certainly looks like the market is treating that as support. However, I would like to see some red candles come in, at least one red candle before I take any action on Pound Canada. Let me also let's extend this right. There we go. Okay, that gives an idea of this. I'm going to delete this price channel here. This is the longer price channel. So we broke out of this, and now we are back in, and now we are testing the top of this. Testing the top of our price channel at what could be a support level. It's not the strongest support level. Plus a 50% Fibonacci. There might be an opportunity to go long here. However, I really want to see some green candles show up. And let's see, it might take, till the end of the week. We'll see. Maybe this is an order that'll be ripe for placement on Friday. We'll see. Keeping an eye on it, but at this point, we'd like to wait a little longer on Pound Canada. Pound Swiss. Okay, Pound Swiss. Yeah, I found this price action to be really choppy and difficult to read. Just 1 second here. Okay. Sorry, I had a bit of a distraction there. Pound Swiss. Yeah, we've got this channel of sorts, but I'm just finding this price action to be very choppy. Right now, we're in the middle of that channel. I don't even have much confidence in calling it a useful channel. It's too all over the place. Maybe if it fell to the bottom of the channel, I could see that being a good buying opportunity. Or if it fell to the top, maybe that's a selling opportunity. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. This currency is pretty volatile, as the chart shows. So I'm just holding off on pound Swiss at this time. Pound yen. Okay, yeah. So, well, we now might be. Okay, we do have a nice. We had a green candle here and a hammer pattern here. Let me zoom out. Is that even a meaningful level at all? Let's see. Well, here's the weekly we're looking at. Okay, now this is a meaningful level. Right. Let's make this nice and thick. Let's make it solid. Let's make it black. Okay. And let's delete this one. Okay. If it can fall to, yeah, 162.16, which is about 315 pips. Let's look at that in perspective on the daily chart. I mean, to me, that's the major support level right there. If we can follow that, that could be an interesting buying opportunity, especially if we take a weekly chart approach. At this point, I think that may be what I need to do at the end, just focus more on the weekly chart. But still nothing at this time. So let's see if we can go 300 pips. I'm a little, we don't really have any clear support levels in this area. So, when there aren't clear support levels, zoom out. That's something. Zoom out when there's no clear support levels. A general rule of thumb I like to maintain in my trading. Okay, let's move on to the next. No opportunities on pound yen, or none that I see or would want, I should say. Pound kiwi. Okay, still in the middle of this trading range. And we are. Why isn't this extending? There we go. Okay. We do have this rising wedge pattern, so I would like to buy the dip here. Maybe we can follow this black line. That could be interesting, especially if it coincides with this trend line here. That could be interesting. At this point, I need to touch one of these black lines. So it needs to go all the way up here. It needs to come down. Preferably needs to come down because I see this is a little bit of an uptrend that I like to buy the dip on. So maybe this dash black line, this solid black line, something. Right now we're in that middle range. I'd prefer to stay away from that. Pound US dollar. Okay, so that's pound Kiwi, pound US dollar. We already looked at pound US. Let's go to dollar Canada. Still falling, still got room to go. So that's the standard thing with Canada. We finally got a reversal. It started late last month, around January 29th. Right around here. January 31st, we had one more exhaustion spike. Really great short opportunity, potentially, if you're interested in counter trend trading. However, we still have some room to go, in my opinion, before it falls support and we can go long. So, still waiting on dollar Canada. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss is like euro dollar. I talked about going long euro dollar. There might be an opportunity to short dollar Swiss, and it's at that dash black line, which I identified as a sort of support level. Especially if you go back here, it becomes much clearer. It's a strong support level there, but since then the market sort of pretty moved through it without much effort. So I'm still staying away from this. It's not a setup that I would really like. Maybe if it can rally all the way up here. Then we get a nice channel. We have this resistance level. That could be interesting. But we'll see. In general, it's the same feeling I have on Euro US dollar. And I'd prefer to pass and express my views on the dollar through other pairs. Okay. Dollar yen. Now this is a little more interesting. Okay, we're clearly at a support level here. So I'm wondering if I should go. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly chart. I think with the yen, I just need to take a weekly chart approach, at least now in the current situation. Okay. I might put on a really small position in the yen here. So the stop's going to be kind of far out. The stop could be... Let's actually make this... And let's draw a trend line from here. Sort of at that. That's not really a convincing trend line in my opinion. Let me delete that. We can draw a trend line from here. How about? Okay. That's a better trend line. Still have some room to go potentially on that. Okay, I just found my reason not to enter this trade. Is I'm gonna put my stop in here. That's another thing I like to, have the perspective of. Look for reasons to not enter trades. And one reason to not enter trade here is we still got. Let's see if we can get a green candle. Let's see if we can consolidate on this weekly chart. Especially if we can consolidate on this weekly chart and run into over several weeks and run into this trend line here, then I might have much greater confidence in putting on a trade. Right now, it's been a bunch of declining. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that the rally in the yen is over. It's still going. There isn't really enough evidence to suggest that it's done. So we'll see. It may be getting closer. And this is also, dollar yen also mirrors the U.S. equities market, S&P 500 in particular. Okay. Yeah, let's see, if we can go, basically if we can stay in this range for a while, maybe the end of the month, that might be, maybe not or maybe even the third week of the month, that might be enough time to establish that it's in a basis format that's ready to go long. So I'm still gonna wait. I'm with the yen pairs in general. I think I'd benefit from taking a weekly chart approach because I'm still a little confused by the analysis. It hasn't working out for me. So for the yen, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit to the weekly, where the analysis I'm finding a little clearer, at least for the time being. So holding off on the yen at the moment. Now, um, dollar Singapore. Okay, this is interesting. We're at the bottom of the channel here. I really would like to see a 50% pullback. So if we can pull back to just a little more, we're almost there. If we can, let's actually draw this line. I'm going to move this down to here. If we can go there, then it's a, let's see what it looks like on the weekly chart. Not that clear. Okay, if we can fall there, there's this gap here, which is kind of interesting. The market may come back and fill that gap. There's also a support level of sorts here. Um, hmm. Well, I like to see it fall a little further more. I really like to see a 50% pullback as well as, so we'll see. I'm just not as sold as on the dollar Singapore just yet. Perhaps in the next day or so, it might be a opportunity. I'd really like to see it touch the bounce off the 50 moving average as well in light of where we are, just a little bit further. The candlesticks are suggesting it's a good opportunity to go long now. However, I would like to see everything else line up. So if it can fall just a little bit more, I would feel much more sure in the analysis. Much more confident, I'd say, of taking the risk. So that's dollar Singapore. Next up, the Canadian dollar pairs. Canada Swiss. We talked about this. It's in that down channel. It's come back. It's tested the bottom of that channel. It broke through it though. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really like the test of the channel as a support level. I prefer to rely on support and resistance as the horizontal lines. So maybe we can go to 82.30. We're about 50 pips away from that. That might be an interesting short opportunity. At this point, I think it'd be good to pass. Canada yen. I've lost on a couple trades recently on this. And this is so basically you can still see the trade that I had on. So I had an order to go long at this black line. I had my stop at this red line. And I put that order right here. It basically came down, it hit my stop, and it bounced right off. So just a bad break. If I had my stop a little further back, even just 5 pips, I'd probably be at least at break even now. But that's the way it goes. I don't think that my stop loss placement was terrible on this. It's just happened to be a little too tight this time. In any event, I don't think the yen, like I mentioned, is it's been confusing me. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly chart. That's the least I can do for sure. Okay, this is interesting because we have now a doji on the weekly chart of sorts. I'm going to remove some of these lines. Get time to let go of that trade. And here is a clear support level. We are below the. Now this is looking a little bearish to me on the yen. We have a pattern of higher lows in place. Prices below the 50 simple moving average. So the trend is starting to look a little bearish. We've broken some. Here's another. I'll probably delete this, but just to illustrate, we've broken some trend lines. Oh, we're at this trend line now. So that's interesting. We are now at this trend line. It'll be really interesting to see if this trend line holds. That's a reason I could see to enter, to go long. We did break through that support level. In any event, it's a little. This is interesting. I'm just still a little unsure about the yen, um, and the momentum and the trend on it. So I think I'm gonna pass on this. Definitely, I'm sure there's some good opportunities. I feel like I've been seeing the same opportunity again, and it hasn't been working out for me. So I'm going to zoom out to the weekly. Maybe I'll reevaluate if it falls to the black line. There's also dollar yen, which I think is a better long. Of all the trades I've seen at the moment, I think dollar yen is probably the one I'm closest to putting a trade on for. Um, so I'll pass on Canada yen. We look at Canada. That does it for the Canadian dollar pairs. Now the Australian dollar pairs. And I should note that I still have an order to... Okay, we've broken out of the top of this range. That's actually pretty interesting. I was thinking about shorting this, you may recall, yesterday, Aussie CAD. However, it was... I just like the other setups on the Canadian dollar pairs more. Because they were trend-oriented, whereas this was a little bit of a range-bound play, and I like to stick to trends when I can. But this one has now broken out the top of that range, so maybe an interesting opportunity at some point to buy a breakout to the long side. We'll see. Um, at this point, I'm not going to take any action. I am going to add one more line right here. I'm going to make it a little thicker. This is a major resistance level. Okay, that's a major resistance level. Maybe if price can go up there and decline, and maybe that'll be a point where price, runs up to there, declines, then we can buy the dip. Let me also draw a trend line. Oh, here I am. And that will go from here to there. So we'll see. Just something to keep in mind at this point. But in any event, it's broken at the top of the range. I don't want to place any trade just yet. Let's see how things continue to shape up. Maybe if it can run all the way up here, then we can look for a Fibonacci number that the market will pull back to. Aussie Swiss. Okay, getting closer. We are now really close. 81.42 I think would be a really nice level to short at. I'm going to make this black or a solid line. Yeah, this would be a really nice level to short at, 81.42. I will keep that in mind. However, let's see how the candlesticks go. Today's candle is a big up candle, so I don't want to enter on a candle like that. Let's see if we can touch 81.42 and start seeing signs of reversal. I will short Aussie Swiss. Out of all the pairs we've looked at today, I think that's my favorite, my clearest opportunity on that one. Aussie yen, I just got my stop hit there. It may be worth shorting again, and this is another one, we looked at a lot of yen pairs. I've been very confused by them. This could be a good, it's a 50% pullback from this point here down to this new low. Let me actually, yeah, so we'll see. If we start to see, if I can see just one more, we'll see how price action, how this candle closes, but shorting Aussie yen I might try that again. So we're coming up. I think there's still more opportunities to short the Australian dollar. And speaking of which, so I do have an entry order on Aussie Kiwi, and I wonder if that's gotten filled. It's close to getting filled. It may have gotten filled since I started this session. No, it has not. Not yet. But that is about 23 pips away from being filled. So if the Australian dollar, if Aussie Kiwi rallies 23 pips, my short here will get triggered. So I have that order on at the moment, and if that gets filled, actually, then I don't want too much exposure to the same currency pair in the same direction. I already have a short Aussie dollar trade on, or is it? I forget whether it's short or long. My Aussie dollar, yeah, it's a short position. So I don't want too much of the same currency in the same direction. So if my Aussie Kiwi trade gets triggered, then I won't put on any other trades. Short Australian dollar. And that should do it. We looked at Aussie dollar, which is let's close out. Look at this one. Yeah. Okay. So this is not looking so great at the moment. It got filled here. Now my stop is here, so we're still, it's got a small floating loss in the moment. We'll see how that ends up shaping out. That's about it. No trades placed on. I do have 3 trades where my risk exposure is still on the table. It's kind of rare for me to have a full 1%. 1% is my risk maximum, but it's rare for me to actually reach that. Everything's really got to line up for me to take that opportunity. So that's about it. No real trades being placed. Still watching and waiting. Patience is a huge part of the game. Waiting for the right setups to come to you. Any questions you have, anything you want to add, join us at InformedTrades.com, a huge learning resource. Check it out. Be a part of our community. InformedTrades.com. Thanks and best of luck in your trading.